Madagascar has been in the headlines for the last couple of days, and it still very much is. The country's finance minister wants foreign donors to resume their support for the country within 3 months of a new president being in charge. He argues that without that support, the island will find it quite difficult to meet its spending needs. Donors like the European Union, the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank have frozen funds and lending since the coup in 2009. Foreign direct investment has also dropped significantly to a projected $416 million this year from $1.36 billion in 2009, according to the World Bank. In Madagascar, 9 out of every 10 people in the country of 22 million live on less than $2 a day. This country's once robust economy shrank by 4.6% in 2009 after growing at 7.1% the year before. It's focused to expand by just 2.6% this year.
Inflation, which is at 5.2%, explains the slowing down of the economy. There's no importation, there's no demand for importation, and the population lives in poverty. That is why we're hoping that these elections will get us out of this crisis. The main priority for the new government, in my opinion, should be to maintain tight fiscal restrictions in order to stabilize the economy and generate more revenue.
Elsewhere, the African maritime sector is seen by many governments, economists and business groupings as an underdeveloped resource. Now, many leaders have all lamented the fact that while more than 90% of the trade that takes place on the continent goes through the oceans, more than 95% of the vessels plying those trade routes are neither owned nor controlled by Africans. In a drive to change that balance and focus on building maritime infrastructure, trade blocs and the African Union are fine-tuning the African Integrated Maritime Strategy for 2050.
It's not just government, it's business, it's port authorities, it's different people who are in that space. So we need to just make sure that we expand and it's continental. And it fits in obviously to the maritime strategy that has been developed for 2050.
Now, barely a week after the South African Finance Minister, Pravin Gordhan, released the country's medium-term budget policy statement, South Africa's Air Force has announced that none of its aircraft have been grounded due to budget cuts. The department has seen several budget cuts in the past, however, as the government focuses on redressing historic social imbalances, and its spending has to be readjusted to reflect that. Despite this, there has been a small budget appropriation to the Defence and Military Veterans Department this year.
In the past, it was very easy for generals to lead during war times when there was a clear enemy and so on and so forth, and allocation towards defense was very easy. And as a general that time, it was easy just to command the troops and lead them to war. You didn't worry about the money allocation. But today, things have changed. We are living in a situation whereby the demands and the competition for budget in every country is so much. So for generals to lead today is not as easy, because you have got to do so much and within the constraints of budget.
Let's move on to the markets now, and it does seem that markets across Africa are having quite a bit of problem gaining momentum. The all-share index in Nigeria up 33% so far this year. It was down by about a half a percentage point in early morning trade. The all-share index in South Africa also in the red, but only marginally so, down 0.05%. The 20-share index in the Kenyan capital Nairobi providing the only green numbers on the board so far, up marginally by less than a tenth. The Egyptian market, however, continuing its losing streak after yesterday's losses in early morning trade. So far, it's down by 0.6.